What's up guys, welcome to episode 2 of the R32 build. Today I'll show you a little bit more of a closer look at where we're at. Episode 1 obviously covered the basics and gave you a little indication of what the plans of the car were. So now I can confirm a couple more things and reveal some of the decisions that we made around the cage and what we plan to do with this car as a finished product. So pretty excited to get this thing on the track up and running. So just before I turn the camera to the car, we do still need to get the side skirts painted. I've got a grille in the front. I'm going to be adding a boot spoiler and possibly a roof spoiler, and I need a rear bumper for an R32 4-door. So it's not fully completed, the look of the car, but we do have the steering somewhat working. We've got some smaller tyres on there now. So I did have the 225 45 18s on the front. I've gone down to a 225 40 18 just to try to get that tiny bit more clearance, because when I was turning the wheel, due to the wise fab pushing everything right out wide, the tyre was basically just catching the guard or the bumper without going to a too small of a tyre. I sort of wanted to keep the footprint the same, but if we could drop a little bit of the profile of the tyre, then that would hopefully help steering work a little bit better. But anyway, check it out. So as you can see, wheels and tyres are working, still pretty close. May still need to do some minor adjustments as once we get the motor and stuff in, but we'll work all of that out once we're there. Grille, obviously still need to get that painted. So engine, unfortunately not on the car just yet. Alright, so I just got done with stripping the head off of the RB25. Initially I was hoping that it was just the turbo that was blown. So that's obviously not in its best condition. However, when I pulled the exhaust manifold off and looked through the exhaust port of number 1, it's pretty obvious that there's a lot of oil residue, which indicates basically a cracked ring. So once I got the head off, it's pretty obvious now that you can see a big chunk of the piston's missing, which would also be allowing oil to come past. So not ideal, but I'm kind of happy that we now get to strip the whole thing down and do it properly. I was sort of just going to do the minimum on this motor and basically just put it together and chuck it in the car and get it running. Richard from Engine Specialties has the motor now, and he is flat out trying to get that thing all done and basically ready for us to bolt in the car. Front bumper, I've still got to put this lower lip here on, which obviously we've got to get painted and stuff first. These little carbon side skirt lips, I guess, they are often Evo 7 to 10, which I used to actually run on the R34 and stopped running them because I used to wear the back side of them out. So down through here, the 34 used to squat so much that this used to end up getting worn basically completely off. So I stopped putting them on, but I decided to get another set for the 32, and it's looking pretty sweet with them on there now. So obviously we have gone with the fiberglass wide body, and it's looking so much better. I am definitely glad that we decided to do that. That was the one decision I was stuck on was either keeping those factory guards or going to that aftermarket wide body. I'm definitely glad that we did do that, because now it really finishes off the car and makes it all look nice and wide in the back. Coming around the rear, obviously it's just mocked up at the moment, but we have cut all the back out and we're putting a fuel cell in, mainly so I can have the option of running E85 if we choose to. We've got all the adjustable arms, all that stuff's in, shocks, axles, still got to put the diff in, but we're waiting to do that last, basically because trying to push this thing around with no motor and a lock diff in it would be just a pain. So, but yeah, so that's basically where we're at the moment. Rear's all stripped out. So cut off the factory guards. And added in the steel plate that comes out. How far do we come out? 50 mil?
50 mil.
Yeah, so that's to basically deflect any tyre delamination and stop it from blowing the fiberglass guard off. So nice tidy job, holds the wide body nice and solid, and yeah, it's looking good.
Exhaust.
Beautiful exhaust there.
Pea shooter.
What's that, a 1/2 inch? One big thing that we didn't really go into detail on in the last video was the roll cage situation. So obviously needed to have the seats mounted to work all of that stuff out, but now they're mounted. I can tell you that we will be making this a 4-seater drift car. So that's why we're kind of held up a little bit on things at the moment. We're just waiting for the engineer to do some drawings that we have to send to Motorsport New Zealand to prove that the structure of the cage and the design of everything is going to be strong enough, and basically that people can get in and out of the vehicle. So once that's all approved, then the car will be going down to Tim's at Triple T. Hopefully we'll have the engine back relatively soon, and then we can get into mounting all of that. Phoenix Radiators have sent us out a whole bunch of parts, a 600 by 300 by 76 intercooler, one of their RB twin pass radiators, so horizontal core, because an RB gets its inlet and outlet on one side, you really do need a horizontal core. So these radiators actually come with the divider plate, and that forces the water across to that side, goes down that end tank, comes back across this side, and then allows it to return into the motor. So much more efficient than the vertical core, where the water basically comes in at the top and heads straight back out the bottom and doesn't use half of the radiator. So this is much more efficient for cooling. We've also got one of the Phoenix oil coolers in there, and we'll be mounting the intercooler upside down in here, and then doing nice short intercooler pipes to the turbo this side and to the plenum on this side. So nice and simple and basic, and it should perform quite well. So the other thing we've also done this week is got the brake calipers all mounted, new slotted brake rotors. So they're just factory size, but they are slotted, so should help with brake ventilation a little bit. Also got them on the rear, so everything's looking all nice. You can get a closer look at the suspension, arms, everything that's done in the back so far. Just staying, I think, with the factory single caliper, keeping it nice and simple. Put a hydro handbrake in line. So what we've done on the front is cut the guard and spaced it out. Now This side skirt is basically the bottom half of the guard now. We got rid of that bottom section, we've bolted that on up under there, so it's all hidden nice and tidy, and it gives us the clearance for when I turn the wheel, it doesn't hit on the guard. So she's looking good. So that's about where we're at now. Changed the Ackerman spaces. So now, it seemed to me before that the wheels were turning, like the trailing wheel was turning in more so than the leading wheel. So I changed the Ackerman spaces to basically, I think that's the minimum Ackerman spacer that you can put in there. So it seems to be a lot better. Alright, so hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of a better idea of where we're at with the R32. Hopefully this will be going down to Tim's this week for the roll cage. So he's going to add 2 more seats to the back to make it a 4-seater. He's just finished all the drawings and stuff with the engineer to send to Motorsport New Zealand to get their approval. So hopefully that's all sorted and done, and he can make a start on that this week. Richard has got the engine and he's pretty much done all the machining and everything. So next episode we'll cover that side of stuff and show you guys the process to building the RB25. Then by that point hopefully we'll have the car back from Tim's with the roll cage and everything done. Then we can get the engine and drivetrain in. Link ECU is sending up a computer, so we'll get that in and hopefully it'll be ready for wiring in a week or 2, and we can get this thing fired up and taken to the track, do some testing. So looking forward to it, can't wait. 4-seater, it's going to be a lot of fun, taking down to some Drift Force days, and yeah, we might even pick some people to come for some laps in the car. So make sure you comment, let us know what you think, and share it around and keep up to date. We'll be back with another episode as soon as we can.